Good morning, Zach. It's great to see you.
Howdy doody. Howdy
Yep.
doody.
Life
The
good?
world of comedy. Yes, it's great. It's great. It's wonderful. The world of comedy has never been bigger. I don't know if that's
Right.
actually true, but we're gonna
Well,
go with it, you know.
There's a nice run going on right now. Today we're going to kill Zach as opposed to kill Tony.
You guys can roast me as much as you want. I can take it because, well, actually,
Well, I
Tim knows
wasn't
a lot
looking at it
about
from
me.
a roast standpoint, but I was just trying to
Yeah,
say
I gotta
that
be
we're just going to try to be funny.
There was someone who was like, maybe it was Patrick Mahomes. He was like, I will never go on a roast. You know who I would like to see on a roast is LeBron James. I would love to see people go after that guy and just talk all the nonsense at him as one of the most overrated basketball players of all time.
The word on the street is that today's guest is Cousins.
I think she's lying about that.
No, she was talking about how she can't wait to get to the family reunion to catch up with LeBron.
Yeah, what city?
I'm not telling that. That's the secret. I'm family. We are not like.
Let's keep it on the DL.
Hey guys,
it's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited.
Yeah, I was looking at our notes. I was scrolling through pictures in my photo library, I think yesterday, and I saw the artwork from when you were on the show the first time, and you were episode number 89.
89. And what am I now?
Today, you're 214. So this is the Valentine's Day in June version, the sweetheart of all podcast episodes.
I love it. I feel like Zach is hating. Zach, why are you over there? Like the audience is looking at you. Thank you for me being able to be on the sweetheart Valentine in the summer episode. I am a sweetheart. I have a sweetheart. 214. Zach, you hating? Let me just let you hate on me.
I just think holidays are stupid.
Well, I without getting into that aspect, but still, it's just this is the Valentine's Day, the sweetheart podcast.
It's fine. We can go with it. I'll roll with it. I'll spin the streets or the blocks or whatever.
We're gonna spin the block. We're spinning the block.
Well, what happened to New Kids on the Block? I don't want to be spinning the blocks. Like none of this makes sense. I don't get it. I'm not trying to get it. We're fine. We're fine. Allison, we met you 100+ episodes ago. I don't want to have to do that math. 130 something, maybe.
So it's been a couple of years.
136, 126, 116, something like that. It's been a while. You took a little trek. You came back. You're here.
Yeah. And even before that was Start Peninsula. Back in the day, we were at Hampton University. And I want that story.
Oh, you pitched there. That's right. I recall.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is, like, that was so Allison was like the savior of that. This is when we did everything in person. And the judges, this is Sunday night, the judges were in deliberation. And the judges were they hadn't come to their decision yet. The keynote speaker was done. And then there was this like dead air time. And then like Alice went up and she did a little skit. She kept
who was the keynote
going. It was Erica from Instant Teams.
Okay.
But yeah, we had to fill some time, and at first Alice looked at me like I was going to go up there and tell some jokes, and I was like, that's not my thing. I'm just generally not a funny guy.
Correct.
So I passed the microphone over to Allison so she can tell some jokes, and that is what she did.
Also, too, just a little test, because I didn't enter into that space under the guise of being a comedian. I was there to pitch my coffee business.
That's right.
So usually when I'm in places and spaces, and I have been told that I don't present as a comedian, like unless you already know that I'm on the bill, people are like, "Oh, you don't look like I didn't expect that." So in that environment, people were like, "Isn't that the comedian? Well, you want to do some time, you know." And as a comedian, you can't give me a microphone. I'm like, it's not about me, but the people need me. They need some laughter. So that's really how we got there. And they're like, oh, shoot, which was a beautiful thing. And I appreciate my gift of being able to be funny, because I feel like, Tim, honestly, me being funny, being a comedian, opened me up or made me be more relatable, because I got some rich feedback from you all that maybe if I didn't have that moment, people would not have spun the block on me to say, hey, we heard your presentation, you didn't win, but this, you know, think about this, tweak this. Maybe if this is what you were saying, maybe you should consider collaborating with them. And so it was great. Comedy opened the door for me, but thank you.
How long have you been doing comedy now?
It'll be almost 10 years.
Wow.
I'm going into my 10th year. I've had some. So when we were on the show, oh yes, because when we were on the show last, I had just opened for Martin Lawrence. I just opened for Martin Lawrence. And then we were in the beginning of the pandemic.
And that seems like a lifetime ago.
Do you have a new show coming out or something too? Did I see that, or am I lying?
You did see that I had a comedy special. It's premiering. It's right now on Amazon Prime. My comedy special.
How do they buy it? Do they give you how does the royalty of that aspect? How does the payment work on something like that?
Well, it works with you calling them and saying, hey, I know this person. I feel like that you know some people. Make the connection. So what it is right now, the status that it is in is me investing in myself. Like I have, I'm a part of a business community. Shout out to Traffic Sales and Profit. They're called TSP. And they were just like, even though you are in whatever part of the rung of comedians that you're in, there's no comedians on your level that have a comedy special. So invest in yourself instead of waiting.
Well, we'll make sure we put that in the show notes for sure.
Yeah.
So you invest, you get a video done of the show, and then Amazon picks it up. And but is Amazon buying it for a price? Like how does that work? Because can I call Amazon, tell them I'm funny, and put them on? And
yes,
like
yes. So there are different relationships. Yes, there are people that Amazon says, listen, we are following you, tracking with you. We want to pay you this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
There are different relationships and business situations. For mine, it was me calling Amazon and saying, hey, I've invested in this level of a comedy special. Here it is. Take a look. If it meets your standards and your guidelines, will you put it up on your platform? And so
I can't believe they answered. That's, I mean, nothing against you. I'm just saying, like, to get them to respond, like that's gotta be pretty crazy.
Nothing against me. It feels like it's me. It feels like it's me. That hold on, wait a minute.
I wouldn't even know where to even start to try to even contact them.
No, that's my point. Is to get an answer from someone.
If y'all wanted to do it, you would Google it. You would find it so quick. Think about it. Like, first of all, we're in a content craving space. Sure. They're not turning away content, and all content creators know that Amazon, Netflix, all of these places are platforms. So it's a whole. I mean, it's an easy but arduous process. Like the fact of me getting to the place and saying, oh, these are the standards that the video needs to be in so that I can upload it and submit it is easy. Seeing what those standards are. Now, then if you do like what I did, I recorded first, went through all that first, and then had the bright idea of like, oh, I can. It was like, oh, shoot, that happens. But then, for me, I did work with a quality videography team. Shout out to Tsunami Digital. They did it for me. So we already had the specs, and then we just kept working with it, and Amazon has it premiering. And so I have a certain, for however many streams, I get a payout monthly, and that's where we are. I'm out here trying, making you.
That's awesome. So for something like that, how long did you work on that material? Like that takes some time. So explain to us how much time goes into something like that. I can't even begin to guess.
Everybody is different for their time. And so for me, like I have this, it's already at the end of it. And so I'm like analyzing all the things that I did wrong. So let me try to be positive. So you don't hear in real time me saying, I should have done this better. It's really up to you. I spent a lot of my time at that time I lived in South Carolina. I did not have a street team. I had produced several shows leading up to that point, even to where I had Sinbad at Norfolk State. So I have done several shows in Virginia producing comedy events, conferences. I think I went into it like, oh, this is easy. People know me in Hampton Roads. I got it. It was at Kazi's Comedy Club, which is the longest running comedy club, our local club in Virginia. It's in Newport News. So she said, you want to headline this weekend? My video team was like, you should use this as your special. You got enough content. And so I went into it that way. I already was going to headline this event. I already knew I had 45 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes because I was the headliner. And then I said, all right, well, let me go ahead and pay a video team and sit down and plan out for them, like the shoot, the edits, the angles, what I want it to look like so that they can record this and I can make it a special. When I do my next one, I will I know I will do a mini tour before I go into my special. I probably will. So in regards to the timeline for the one I did last year, it was a couple of months. And I spent most of the time trying to recruit people to be in the show. This next time, I will put more of my time. I'll probably take more like a 3 to 4 month, maybe even 6 preparation of the new material, hit up anywhere I can with the microphone quietly, and then go and produce it. But it's just about what's your resources. How big is your team? How much money do you have? What type of time? What do you want the final to look at? I would suggest or recommend to anyone who is going into something like that, like I want to produce my own show, maybe my own, whether it be a comedy show or a pilot episode. I've done that too. I would say go and look at the one that you like. I want mine to be as close to that as possible, and then reverse engineer.
One thing that I think is always interesting is where you hear even very large megastar comedians who they go into smaller venues to test out material to see where it goes. That's very like, I don't know, I just never would have thought about that kind of stuff. And maybe it was Kevin Hart who said it in his book or something like that, or it was Dave Chappelle maybe. I can't recall who I learned that from. Maybe it was just Tim telling me that. But like, yeah, it's interesting because you would just expect, okay, you're going to do it in your mirror. You're going to try it out on your friends. But then to go into a venue to see like, hey, does this suck or not? Like, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are they looking for in those cases? Like, what's the what's the appetite? Just change it a little bit? Like how, like, because you said you just did that too. Like what are you looking for in those situations?
I love this question, Zach. I think
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let me give brother Zach his props, because I know I have no problem. Like, Zach, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. So you here's your flowers. Here you go, bro.
I would like 2 dozen, please.
You have that. So I think that for the comedy piece, you think of it like going to the gym. The comedian is the bodybuilder, but they don't just go onto the stage to do that final performance. They got to go into the gym. And so that's what open mic is. It is the pumping of the iron to get to the time where now the audience is there. With comedy, you can't just practice. That's the one. If I was an instrumentalist, if I did other forms of art, I can practice at the house and then come and present. However, with comedy, because the biggest part of it is the timing, as well as the making sure that the strangers that are in the audience understand what it is that you're trying to say. And so you can only do that practicing with people. So for me, for example, people refer to me, first of all, I'm not going to be in my feelings that y'all have not been to one of my shows yet, but let's just change that, because we're supposed to be family. So y'all don't try to wait till I get to Saturday Night Live is what I'm saying. Come with me now.
All right. You'd be like, yeah, we're looking for tickets to go be part of the audience. You'd be like, who?
That's all. I'm like, oh no, not those brothers. My Virginia people, I know them because they hold me down. Anyway, all right, I'm not gonna be passive aggressive. But
how do you know that we haven't been? Like, I just feel like maybe we just didn't come up and say hi to you because maybe the set wasn't very good.
Yeah, you don't even have that when you are the coming and shooting with me in the gym person. You don't even get to say that the set wasn't very good. Like, you got to help me take notes. You have to say, you know, when you said this, I think people would better understand it, Allison, if you whatever. Like, you have to be on the team where we're in the kitchen cooking.
What is the best? Outside tasting. In all seriousness, though, what is the best way to get integrated to even know like who's performing and where?
It depends on what type of comedy you like. So if you are,
I like your comedy.
Well, thank you very much. So then let's say you got a comedian that you like them because you like the comedian, as opposed to you like the art of comedy. Then you just follow your comedian, and then wherever they go, then you pop up and you pull up. So for me, you know, my last name is Moore. My brand is More Laughing. So I have in my group of fans, I have some of my super fans who are called the More Laughing OGs, the original gigglers. That means when I put them on my email list, I already know about 15 of them, 20 of them, whoever, depending on where I'm at, they're going to come. So that's that segment of people. Then you have those who like, they do comedy as their first source of entertainment or inspiration. You know, they like funny stuff. Or maybe it's just mainstream, you know, like how people consume their music. They don't really care about the underground artists. They want to hear what's on the mainstream radio. You find those people and you waiting for the TVs or the viral comedians or the, you know, those type of very popular type of ways you become introduced to them. And so maybe you just follow that. Like you always listen to the comedy radio stations. And so then that's how you see who was up there. But then there is this other tier of people who they like the gritty in the beginning comedy community type of underground comedy. And so in that space, that's going to be the 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people that's sitting in a bar at an open mic. They like to go to their bars on Tuesdays or Thursdays because they know it's going to be the open mic night. And that's a part of the ecosystem. That's where the people like the me's and the Kevin Harts, they're going to where is there an audience, preferably maybe a small one, where I could just test this theory. I was riding down the street. That was funny, like how the roads are here in this city. Let me see if when I say this out loud, that where I take my breaks, where I pause, the words that I use, how I convey resonates before I then use this 3-minute joke in front of 10,000 people. So I hope all that came together made sense. If it didn't, make it make sense. Edit this and make it make sense.
No, it's
definitely editing it.
You get on my nerves.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spin the block on that one more time. No, because so like you do a lot with on the corporate side.
Yes, I like paying my rent.
And so what do you do on the corporate side? And so you do the club scene, you got the corporate side. What's the corporate side look like? And I have some follow-up stuff that I want to get to, but I want to set the stage for the corporate side, so to speak.
Okay. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your follow-ups, you know, the way my ADHD kind of kick in. So just help me be like, no, girl, focus. Stay straight, keep driving straight. So the corporate, what that looks like for me is my background is in human resources. So I am a human resources professional. My master's degree is in HR management, education, human development type of space. And I did that for years, even before coming to comedy. When I started doing comedy, I was a clean comedian, which means, and I still am, I'm a clean comedian. So I don't curse or use profanity on stage. I like to make sure people understand it. And that's part of the joke, the time, and let me let you breathe, because I do cuss all the time, just not at work, because I'm a professional. And so for me, it just made it easier for me to get a gig or work in corporate spaces, because they're like, okay, she's a human resources professional. So she already understands the dynamic. She already understands the liability that having her here could get us in. Humor is a precarious thing because it can be, I use my humor and my gift of laughter positively. I like to switch on insight and leave inspiration. But you can also, obviously, we know you could be funny at somebody else's expense as much as possible. I don't. And so therefore, I try to leverage, hey, my comedy is positive. Most of the time, I don't offend people. I understand what this looks like if you have a speaker here that says something that alienates some of the workforce. In fact, I can do the opposite. I can help convey your mission and do that kind of thing. And so, especially when the pandemic happened, because y'all know I was about to be famous. So I had opened for Martin Lawrence in February 2020, y'all, at the Scope. So we're in Norfolk, Virginia. And I'm on my little come up at this time. So this was 4 years ago. So I've been doing comedy maybe about six years now, because we're about to go into 10. So maybe about 6-ish years. I'd already opened for Sinbad a few times. Shout out to the GOAT, Sinbad. And then we go into a pandemic, like 3 weeks after I am on stage. I was like, what do you mean live entertainment is? And I didn't have royalties. I wasn't famous. So I was not getting paid from commercials and that kind of thing. Then corporate was like, hey, girl, you are a comedian. You are funny. We have sent everybody home. This is in the beginning of 2020. So they're like, can you get on Zoom and just help make people laugh? The morale is low. I'm like, say less. I'm your girl. So I became, Zoom queen. I was cracking these jokes on this Wi-Fi, baby. So I was like doing laugh at lunch with Allison kind of series. Then fast forward a few more months into the pandemic, and brother George Floyd was murdered. And so they're like, hey, girl, you funny, you're HR, you Black, could you help? Because it's tight around here. People are not talking. We don't know what to say. A lot of my white or non-Black brothers and sisters that are allies and care about the community was like, I don't, what do I do? I said, you hire me. You hired me. So I was using laughter at that time to just kind of bring some levity to very tense conversations. That then led, and I said, here I am as this artist. It's like, I'm not doing comedy right now, but I am leveraging humor in corporate spaces. And then corporate was like, here's what we pay in corporate. And I'm like, okay, this is a little different than the comedy club with you get $25 in a drink. I don't want a drink. I like this stuff over here. I like these. And so that then led me to, I can do corporate. I already wasn't cussing anyway. Now I do say titty sometimes, y'all. So I just want to let people know, not at work, but on stage, I will say the T word, but that's the extent of my profanity. So that's kind of how I corporate.
Yeah. So like with that, man, I have so many questions, and I know that we only have like 39 minutes left.
I'm not saying that T word. I've never used it here, and I'm not starting today.
I'm sorry. I did not offend your audience. My apologies.
Tetris.
Oh, Tetris.
One, I just think that there is so much pressure in the corporate world that like this would be a really refreshing thing, team building aspect, just to allow everybody to laugh and just forget about the pressures that they have of hitting targets and whatnot. So that aspect is super cool. I want to dive into that, but at this, do you just do your normal set? Or do you like dig into each company and just and kind of customize it so that you can take a little jab or a little roasty roast on this particular company about something? How do you approach your different corporate events?
Oh gosh, you guys, y'all throw me all the alley-oops in preparation for game one. I'm gonna give you a clip. And plus, any decision makers who are listening, I do.
There's no alley-oop from LeBron James.
First of all, you disrespectful talking. Like what? All my life I had to fight. I didn't come up here to fight with you, Zach. I don't want no beef. Like, leave LeBron James alone. Y'all haters. All LeBron haters. Unless you want to hire me, then listen. Bronny will understand. Bronny Sr.
Speaking the truth.
Okay, fine. What? Yes, sir. This your show. So that's your truth, and I respect your truth. However, what's your question again? See, now my ADHD.
Do you customize different corporate events?
Do I joke on the corporations? So yes, I customize them, but what customization looks like is not me ragging on the joke. The company.
Yeah.
I don't, because there are landmines and I don't feel like it. Now maybe if I had a client, I've been working with Ferguson, for example, Ferguson Enterprise. Some of my clients are private, some are public. So I've been working.
You got poop jokes for days. We're doing some stuff there, right?
And I'm not at all. We're not talking about poop jokes because I like the engagement and the arrangement that I have with them. So we're not going to be pooping because everybody is not there for the poop. But they are.
What about Tetris?
Tetris, Tetris, and that's going to be in the special on the comedy club stage. I'm saying Tetris in the comedy club. In corporate, I'm not saying Tetris unless, let's say, when we talk about the customization. So in most cases, let me give you more of a right now. My newest client that I just engaged with is MasterCard. So I'm so excited.
That's awesome. Congratulations to you. Say that again.
My newest client is MasterCard. So I will be working with some leaders in their global delivery service team. And I'm excited to give them a Leaders Who Laugh workshop in July. So that's my newest relationship or client. In that case, I speak with the client. This is a team. It's about 14 different departments that rolls up to this one senior vice president. And I have worked with her and have been working with her with some of the skills, the soft skills, the communication skills that she thinks that her team of 14, who they lead various teams. One person got 8, one person got 100. Well, not 100, because all of them coming up to her is like 170. But that part, let me not get caught up in the details. So with her in the customization piece, I'm asking her questions, tell me about some of the challenges or some of the opportunities for growth. what's happening. And so she's saying some things to me. They, in this particular case, they are a global team. They do a lot of intersectionality with other parts of the company. And they also are very diverse because they have different companies represented within this team. They're in all over the world. And so they have to come together. So communication for them, because obviously in certain cultures is different, things mean different things than the others. And if you're majority hybrid, you don't really have that chance to have these emotional deposits that are strong enough to create synergy amongst these teams. So for her case, I'm listening to her. She's telling me all about some of these challenges and opportunities for growth. And then I then go and build out a curriculum. This workshop is going to be 4 hours that addresses some of these communication soft skills that will help with that problem. That's the most of my customization. I'm going to refer to like what they do, the services they deliver, how they interact with the other departments. But I'm not talking about MasterCard. MasterCard is the greatest company on the planet. Listen here. I love them. Don't y'all? Do y'all have MasterCard?
I'm not telling the internet what I have and don't have.
You are okay. Yes, sir. Got it.
You know, people, there's a lot of dangerous people out there that would love to know what type of things I have. I'm not telling them that.
That's the truth. And we don't want that to happen.
But a MasterCard, I mean, I may. Okay. I may not.
Okay, cool. Your secret safe.
I'm interested in why you play off of your last name in the production company, but you don't spell it. You spell it, your last name is Moore, double O. The production company is Moore, single O. Why didn't you play with the double O on that?
Yeah, next time, send me these questions in advance so I can tell y'all which ones I don't want y'all to ask me. Zach, why you Okay, so this is what had happened. What had happened was, so now I got to tell, hey, y'all, the audience, they got to hear our personal business. When we could have had this brother-sister conversation offline. It's okay.
We tried doing a pre-call, but you didn't show up.
Really? What was I just on? Okay, focus. We haven't argued.
It must have been in that one email. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. It was in that one email, whatever. Anywho, so it started off with the 2 O's. And then I, because my last name was Moore, but the last name is a married last name. And so I got divorced. And so now it's the evolution of More Laughing. And so in the logo, the O is like a O on top of the O. So in my mind, I'm like, the 2 O's are still there, but it's the evolution of More Laughing. Plus, in the beginning, though, sometimes I did find myself, when I was like, it's More Laughing, you get it? I would have had to say, but my last name is Moore and it's 2 O's, and it was tripping people up. And so I was just like, this is a great time. You know, I'm gonna take my Tina Turner and I'm out. And I'm gonna go and did y'all get that Tina Turner joke? Where's the women on this team? We need to diversify those jokes. Okay. So that's why, Zach. So, but you can find me really though, still More Laughing is still out there in these streets. It'll still kind of point you, but I am trying to evolve into More with 1 O in case, you know, the love of my life is like, you can't be building on this other man's name.
That's right.
You know.
Thank
you for asking.
What's it like?
You make me feel bad now.
Don't feel bad. No, this is entertaining. This is entertaining for the people. It's working.
That's right. What's it like? So, like when people know they're going to a comedy club, they anticipate laughter. So I think that laughing would become easier to them. Then you're like, all right, it is 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, and I'm doing this corporate thing. Are people there to laugh, or do you have to work for it a little bit harder in the corporate setting?
You guys are asking all the great. Okay, I did just talk about the questions, and then like, you're asking great questions. Great question. So you just redeemed Zach. So listen, what had happened?
No, what you're saying is that he asked good questions, and you don't like my deep thoughted questions that are.
What I'm saying is, I should not have called you out. Let me say this: I'm accountable. And that was wrong of me because you have the right to ask whatever questions you want to ask on your show. Like, why would I do that? You know, who am I? You know your audience. I just appreciate this question in a different way because I didn't.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Allison.
So yes. So
whose outfit do you like better? Like, are we going with that next?
Okay. I both outfits are really giving luxury, you know, black is luxurious, black is beautiful. I don't know if y'all experienced the black thing, but it's giving. I love it.
That's right.
I like this.
Yeah.
I feel like the queen. Okay, so look, with comedy in a comedy club versus corporate, it is different. When you come into a comedy club, like they're already coming with this, I'm coming to laugh. In the corporate spaces, oftentimes it's like, oh, it's a comedian. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. So it is different. For me, it's just different. I don't even know if I have a preference, but I know that because people in corporate are not coming to laugh, I get a better thrill, excitement, fulfillment, because I'm like, y'all won't even. You thought you was coming to a boring day of work, and your girl out here laughing at 7:30 in the morning. Bad chick.
And I guess you, if you can make these people laugh, then does that mean it's going to hit when you take it to the club?
No, it's totally different. Because these people are the same people that go to a comedy club. They're not different people. They're just in a different environment.
Right.
And when I am in a corporate space, it just becomes this, for me, again, this thrill to make appropriate things funny, because people think that the only things that are funny are dirty things. That's why we have such a shame. Ooh, it's a comedian. I feel so guilty. It was like, yeah, but what if I told you you could laugh real hard about vegetables? Like, what if I told you that you actually laugh at things all the time, that everything is not sex or profanity? And guess what? Let's talk about these passwords and how much we've been forgetting these logins, or don't want IT to see what we're really doing at work, and how funny that is. In the last 15 minutes, you haven't been able to catch your breath. And so for me, I'm not out here trying to convince any of these hilarious comedians to come to the corporate side. Y'all stay y'all butt where y'all at. Mind your business, okay? But it is really just about the topic. And I enjoy people being so surprised. Like, I just never would have expected to laugh this morning. I'm like, girl, you be laughing in the morning, but it's okay. People really be tripped up about it.
Because the reason that I'm asking this is just in the sense of, like, when you have someone that's like learning how to pitch, and like it falls a little flat, or, like, have you done this? Have you taken enough reps that in the corporate setting, if something falls flat or the reaction wasn't there that you were hoping for, do you just know just to keep on pressing on and not let that mess with your head at all? That just comes with experience?
Yes, it comes with experience. It comes with mindset. When I come to a corporation or corporate event, I'm not even coming for the external laughter. I already know that by the time I can get the visible laughter out of them, especially if they did not know I was a comedian, it's not going to be until the end. When afterwards they're like, oh my God, you were so funny the whole time. Like, but I didn't know. Like, was I supposed to laugh? I'm like, yeah, girl, I've been telling you the whole time, laugh. So I am already prepared, and I know from experience that just because someone is not does not mean they're not having a great time. Some people have a different relationship with laughter, with having fun, with those type of things. And comedy has helped me to learn how to detach myself from other people's projections, or to realize they're just, girl, this ain't got nothing to do with you. They are in their head. So for corporations, some people feel like especially it's like some men, sometimes they really don't, they feel emasculated or something if they're like, let a little bit of joy get on them. They don't want nobody to know. So I'm like, okay, bro, I ain't gonna tell nobody, but I know you enjoying this. I can see how you ain't blink. You didn't even breathe, so I know you're having a good time, but you don't want to laugh out loud because you don't want people to think you're not professional and you shouldn't be getting the 6 figures. So I let them, I'm released. Whereas in a comedy club, you need that visible laughter. I need to know that. So for me, I still just say, don't let this get in your head, especially in corporate. It's like they're having a great time. You have a good time with yourself, because people sometimes they just enjoy seeing, like, man, she's just really tickled. I'm not a person I'm gonna tell a joke and I'm gonna ha 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 at myself and tell a joke and ha ha ha. But just even now, like, I'm having a blast. Hopefully you can tune in and be a part of this or not. So those are the differences.
So 18 months or so, I don't know if the timeline is right, but Will Smith decides to walk up on stage and slaps Chris Rock. When you see that and you see kind of the aftermath of that, what are your thoughts on all of that, just in totality?
In totality, so a lot has been happening in the comedy streets even since then, because then you got Cat Williams, you got a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on. Comedians, we've been out here busy. We have been like, let the comedians into the world of entertainment. Let us get in here. What were my thoughts on that? My thoughts align with whatever decision maker that's listening to this has said, man, she would be great to come in and boost the morale here and help us with our communication. I feel the same way you feel, sir. Ma'am, whatever you feel is how I feel. If you don't have an opinion, how I may hypothetically feel is I got a whole nother perspective because I didn't really enter the chat, or I didn't become invested into what happened at the point of Will Smith smacking him. A lot of people started with the, oh, wow, I got offended when I saw Will Smith put his hands on Chris, and now I'm responding to that. For me, as a Black woman who has a lifetime of experience with the relationship with my hair and being Europeanized and all of that, I got offended when Chris, for years, has been coming for Jada Pinkett in whatever way. And me personally, in my own emotional, and this is like, I am an expert in communication and bridging the gap and boosting morale, being positive and funny. I'm good at that. This right here, y'all, this is coming all out of my emotions, okay? This is some me stuff. This is between me and my therapist. I'm sharing with y'all. So I'm the type of person, anyway, personally, that is just like, how you gonna keep talking about this man's wife? How you gonna, why? And then it's Hollywood, right? Hollywood got but what, this many Hollywood people in the circle, and then this many of them are Black. So I know y'all know each other. Why you keep using the jokes on this man's wife? So take out the $1 million pay grades. I'm like, I know you're not gonna let him keep talking about me and my hair. Slap him. So that, that was just, I do not condone or promote violence. And I think that they should have talked about it. But, stop talking about people.
My biggest takeaway with that is this is a circle.
Yeah.
That is not that's a triangle, a diamond. Like
no, see, I know that you need me to help you with the DEI and B part. Okay. But I identify my circles as this. Okay. So that is a circle to me. And you don't have the right to tell me that it is not a circle, because I feel as if I made a circle.
I'm glad you feel that way.
But you just said it like that was good.
How has DE&I changed over the course of the last few years? Has it?
No, it's changed. It's changed, but it's still there, still alive, but it has changed. So over the last 4 years, what we have been seeing is, especially right now, we see the people who didn't really mean it when they made their commitments 4 years ago. They're like, whoo, I'm tired of this. I mean, they started like last year. People like George Floyd. Wait, who? What? Michael Brown. What? Who are these? Is that so you can already see some of the guilt wasn't real guilt. It was false. It was just check boxes. It wasn't really care for the community. It wasn't care for the workforce, the employees, or the clients, or the neighborhood in which you're building your business and your millions off of. Because soon as climate change, let's chase that, or let's chase this. And some of the things that DEI got very popular on are now cuss words. So there's some organizations that are using it to weaponize it. And there are other words that have been weaponized, and we see this in other spaces where it's like words that, like woke. Woke is a word now to signal to certain types of people. That's what they say. And then you could just go back and forth with where you align, that ultimately was not what it originated from, but somebody else has taken that and made its own definition of it. I think that's the same thing that happens in the DEI and B space. So the only people who are still there are people who really cared. The decision makers, the business people, the whatever, that are like, okay, 25% of our customer base live in communities like this. If they go down and they don't have any, economically, they're struggling, we don't get this 25% of our revenue. Like, some people see it logically this way, or 40% of my employees comes out of this community. I don't want them to come hating their job here, hating me. So if I press in this way, or do this, or hire these vendors, they will feel like that they're seen, heard, and appreciated. Like, to me, that's kind of how it seems. But and some of the organizations see that, and they're like, I'm not letting up off of this, because I want everybody that comes and work for me to feel like They're seeing her believe valued. I don't like this turnover. I want to recruit new talent who we know Gen Z, they're not playing these games like how we were. They already come into the conversation with this level of awareness and expectation of society that we didn't have. And so I see people still holding on to DEIB as a way to say, hey, we are an aware organization that will respect what you bring to the table. Whereas other corporations are like, well, I'm so glad we had done that conversation. Get them out of here. This woke stuff is too much. I hate social media. Like, and then it's a whole different thing.
When did the B arrive?
The B probably, I don't know when it arrived, but I know I started definitely making sure I didn't leave it out probably around like 22, and the B for belonging.
Today's the first day I learned about it, so thank you for that. I finally learned something into this 41 minutes in.
Yeah, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And belonging emphasizes, diversity emphasizes, hey, there are differences between the two. The inclusion piece talks about, okay, well, what are we doing to make sure that the people who are very different feel included? And then the belonging kind of emphasizes what we are doing internally to make sure that each people here understands that they belong. That's not the best way to unpack that, but they really do intersect with each other differently. And they have to, because right now there are a lot of ERGs. So that's the employee resource group. You know them? Like you heard of the ERG kind of communities or groups?
Nope.
Okay. So larger companies, Zach, you'll see ERGs really functioning there, or like these affinity committees or what have you. And that would be this group of whatever community that says, hey, we want to volunteer on behalf of our organization. And so a lot of corporations, their affinity groups or their ERG employee resource groups are like women, or, or LGBTQ plus, or veterans. Or I'm seeing a lot now with neuro. I don't want any decision makers to get discouraged. Sometimes y'all, I can't read as well, but I am funny. Neurodivergent. Hold on, wait, neurodivergent. Golly, believe me, it's true. Neurodivergent. But some of these invisible superpowers that we have that we bring to the table. So it's these different groups that then they volunteer. Like I might be in IT, but I want to be in the LGBTQ plus group, either because I identify with this community, which I don't, but I personally am an ally. So I might want to serve with this group because the organization is saying we're going to put some resources into whatever employees decide that they want to volunteer, so that those employees who represents this community, or those who feel like this community is important to them, know that we're here and there's a safe space, and they can, educate the management team. So like, for example, if you are of a certain generation. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on, wait. I forgot to turn.
Hold on a second.
My calls.
Did you just not turn off your phone?
I did.
Zoom queen.
The disrespect that you have.
I know, but this ain't Zoom. This StreamYard.
You think that you can just come on our show and let your take the call? Let's hear it. Come on.
I said, how dare you call me at such a time as this? How dare you? I'm like,
do you know who you're on the phone with? Like, it is Good Question Tim and Bad Black Shirt Zach. I mean, come on.
Okay, so Zach, what had happened was my aunt passed away yesterday in real life, and so the family checking on me. You don't have nothing for that?
I'm just glad that a plane was flying overhead, so I can just keep my mute button pressed and not feel the need to jump in on this one.
I feel like I'm going to be canceled for that comment. Cancel culture very high in the world these days. So if this is what it's going to be over, it's not what I would have thought it would have been. But
it's not cancel culture. That's come from the woke vocabulary. It is accountability.
Oh, so all right. So speaking of accountability,
tell me. Yes.
So you said that. Who is your newest client again?
MasterCard. Pew, pew, pew.
MasterCard. How does that work? Like, how does to gain them as a client, do you have to send them like a highlight reel kind of thing, or do they give you a rider that says, this is what's fair game, this is out of bounds? How do you iron out all of that stuff? Because that could be like really, it could be risky, but clearly you're doing the right things.
Yeah, thank you. I think every situation is different, and each, depending on the role, the job, just different entry points and etc. I'll just share again what I have, my experience. Now, I probably will definitely resonate with people who have a little zig. I'm not the straight path lady. Nothing is easy. Nothing is straight. We're gonna remix it. We're gonna zigzag, go all around. So there may be other ways, but the way that I have done it in my opportunities, most of them come from my relationships, my network, and the privileges. Laughter opens up doors for me. Because if I am in a comedy club and out of 8 comedians or 5 comedians, I'm the one that's not cursing. I'm the one that has, I have jokes that are like, ooh, why am I using this voice? Oh, that's right. I forgot to turn off my code switching voice. Let me get y'all my real voice. People in the audience that came from work or whatever, they already like code switching. So then I immediately become a little bit different, and somebody might afterwards say, hey, do you do and have you? And so those opportunities happen. I do a lot of corporate conferences because I'm funny. I'm also really good at hosting, and people appreciate my hosting because I make sure that their audience stays engaged, interested. You got a whole 8 hours. Let these people have some moments of laughter in between these keynotes or these sessions. So in those, I look up the people that I'm working with. And in this case, I happen to work with some of the decision makers at MasterCard because I had another client. I was hosting an event that Bridgestone, the tire company, they had a 3-day event that this other organization had a 3-day event, and a lot of their employees, their women in leadership, were there. And so it was like this leadership development event. And I brought my hosting there, met some of the people at MasterCard. So they got to see me in action, which definitely skipped me across the line as maybe somebody who might have done a cold call, check me out online or what have you. So that was for me. And then I just stayed on it. Like, if I meet you, if we connect, I'm going to try then in the moment. Can we have virtual coffee soon? I have the coffee. So then I'll try to nurture my relationships. Hey, can we have virtual coffee in a week? I'll get their address. If they say yes, I'll send them a thing of coffee to their office, already get them happy. Probably leading up to it, I would send them an email and say, hey, by the way, I'm also a comedian. Here's a little 5-minute clip to make you laugh. So I try to put them in the right headspace to receive me so that I can, pay my bills. So that I can make sure that the customer has trust in what I do.
And the team is operating as efficiently and optimized as much as possible.
We want to help them. And people don't like each other. So that's part of what laughter does too. If the 3 of us, we work together and we don't really talk that much, or I just don't really feel like I connect with you, we get on a call, we're up there for 3 hours with this lady. And so a lot of what I do, some of my workshops are these improv classes. So I use improv, like regular improv and acting, to teach communication. We take the activities of improv. It's really fun. And then I'll use this. Maybe we're working on negotiation, closing sales, small talk for the introverts, handling or resolving conflict, having uncomfortable conversations, like talking to somebody, hey, you stink, and the office is really having an issue with it. We gotta address those sensitively, right? So I'll do these workshops working with them to help create these communication skills or enhance them. If you're doing improv, we're going to think on our feet quicker. We're going to have better comebacks and some of the things that are offensive and hurtful in the beginning just because you really didn't know what to say. So at the end of this 2-hour time, the 3 of us are sitting here laughing with this lady, laughing with each other. We're doing these exercises back and forth. I am 65% more likely to now call you tomorrow and say, hey, Tim, by the way, that was so crazy. You were funny. Yesterday was fun, wasn't it? Okay, great. Can I ask you a question about, so immediately laughter helps bridge the gap. It closes some of those, holes. And I feel like my clients have been able to realize like, oh, shoot, they talking to each other. Come back. Can you come back in 3 months, or can you do a monthly webinar, or can you whatever? And so that's what I've been trying to that's what makes what I do special.
I agree. Laughter, meals, all great things to build laughter, the team.
Meals, yes. Mm-hmm.
What's something that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
Something I want to talk about that we have not talked about. We talked about so many things. What do I want to talk about we haven't talked about? Oh, yeah. So, Tim, Not that that's not important, because you are important, but you know, you're the type of person that you can't go into it like, be honest with me, because you're gonna really be honest, and I don't really want your honesty. I just wanted to say it so I can sound like I'm humble, but I really want you to give it back to me very nicely in the way that I can deal with it. It won't hurt my feelings. So I'm gonna just start with Tim. Is that okay? Okay. So Tim, now Zach, I can email I can read it, so you can email me your feedback, but don't, because I'm sensitive, I'm gonna cry. But Tim, so since we met, and I know that you are like demand and like pitches and people building out and creating their businesses and things, I want your thoughts. Okay. So obviously with what I'm doing with the comedy or the team building piece of it, I love that. I love working with groups, people, humans, but it's not scalable. If I'm only getting paid when I'm on stage making people laugh, that part for me, I realized going through a divorce, going through life stuff, like I might not be in a good mood. I don't want to make y'all laugh today. So then it was like, okay, girl, what is something, how are you going to think about scaling this business? Because that's where the wealth is, right? So I then said, all right, well, if I'm doing trainings, I'm doing this communication, skill development for leaders, for organizations. What is the next level? The next level is then managing the trainings, right? If I'm able to say, hey, your leaders went through this many hours of soft skill development or presentation development or whatever, and here I'm empowering you, organization, with tools to coach your people up or coach them out, right? Like even if it says, hey, we gave you some skills, you still aren't doing it, you got to go. Or here's what we want to give you because we think you'll be better, with this. I'm like, for me, I think my next step is technology. So I would like for you to ask me some questions so I can make sure that, pitch is ready in case I meet an investor. It might be somebody that's like, hey, girl, I want to put $500,000 into this software. What are things I need to be thinking about as I'm trying to create this next level of business?
What makes you think that it has to be technology focused?
Because, growing up, I really had I ain't had that much exposure, so that's all I know. What else you think? Tell me. Come on.
Well, no, I mean, I guess the first thing that I was thinking of was, and Zach and I have been going back and forth about this. As it's interesting, just that the whole Kill Tony type of aspect of them bringing, if you were able to set something up with one of the local places, Kazi's or whatever, and like they wanted to get, you had your specific type of comedy that you were going after, and you did give everyone that 1 minute type of approach, so that you can expand your team and you can audition people that way, so that you could expand and scale from that regard. Maybe I don't know. What's
the product or service in that model that you did? So then, what am I selling?
Well, you would. So then, if you had different flavors of comedians that you wanted to add to your list of people that you offered at different corporate gigs, maybe they were looking for a man or this type of ethnicity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got you. Ethnicity. Let me tell
you. There you go.
You say have a roster. Okay, no, yeah. So like even now I have a couple of, when I started doing my laughter and leadership, leaders who laugh annual festivals, I have a roster, but I'm trying to figure out, okay, what solves a problem in my wheelhouse for my corporate clients. And I was thinking that the problem is, if I'm just pumping out this, here are tools to make your people better so that they are not getting your company in legal issues, and also more than a negative, but just positive. So you're developing people, you're keeping them, they're better representations of you. Then I want to say, I can help you manage that or deliver this in a more organized way than having to depend on the vice president or whatever to coordinate these monthly meetings. And so I was thinking, okay, that would be great. Like, like PeopleSoft and software like that, they log in, they see, here are my trainings that I took, or here is my coaching sessions, or here are the notes from what I just got from my management.
Gotcha.
If I work on these things, I can be better. And ding, now it goes to the manager to let them know Allison completed these trainings or what have you. That's where I was thinking.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting too, just in the sense. And I think that last time we talked, one of the things that I thought that resonated so much with me was just that, like, if you're able to if you're able to laugh, or if it's a little lighter, you're more apt to remember it. and practice it, as opposed to like death by PowerPoint and you're just hitting the next button as soon as you're able to click on it so you can get through it. Yeah, I think that, so from technology, from that standpoint, I get it.
So are you saying you're thinking maybe the teammates of these companies are looking for continuing education and to figure out how to take what you do to on a soft skill perspective, that then they're kind of quizzed and they watch and they go through this, and that's kind of how you're seeing the technology aspect of that? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I'm thinking. If it helps the people by being able to say, oh, wow, I know that I put this into Tim, or Tim put this into itself. Zach did this. Allison did. Like I was,
or even like a little hot button kind of thing where like, Zach didn't make me feel like I belonged. So then like, I'm going to send a little clip of Allison talking about belonging. So, I mean, it would be interesting if you had like little things like that. And then you'd be like, all right, now.
I don't think the corporations, this is good. Yeah, somebody in the audience needs to let us know. But I wonder if they're going to be like, no, we don't want to know when they're getting on each other's nerves. That red button was never going to go off.
Well, that's why, like, to me, I would just, ask them in your conversations with them, instead of, hey, this one session where I'm coming in and making your teammates laugh or feel more comfortable with each other. What if, what else do you guys, what would make your lives even better? And if there's no answer to that, or you can't get them to articulate something, then maybe there isn't a next step. You just got to figure out how to scale and do more of
what I'm doing.
And the other aspect of it is like, that you bring that camaraderie, you bring the team aspect of it. But then if you were able to give someone the confidence to speak up so that they could be heard, it's just, you could have some junior software developer that like doesn't even like to leave the closet because they're not comfortable, and all of a sudden,
it's gotta be a closet.
Well, just somewhere dark that that's where the stereotypical coders hang out. And then they had the next.
I'm resisting the urge to do that. You started it though, Zach. You was like, "Well, I got to be closet." I'm like, they wanted to come out.
But they could be sitting on the next evolution or product idea that could unlock, billions of dollars of revenue for this company, but they just never had the confidence to bring it up. That you could unlock something like that, which is super cool
and valuable.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to make the world a better place, one more confident speaker at a time. Yeah, do it.
We got about 30 seconds left before we're kicking you off. What else do you want to say?
I would love to stay connected with anyone who has been enjoying the time with me. You can follow me on my site is AllisonTheComedian.com. Like Tim set us up. You want to follow me and see where I'm at. Please.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing a future show.
Yes, I look forward to hosting you all in the VIP sections in my shows, guys. Thank you so much.
See, that's just scary to me. That's like easy target section. No, or are you nice to?
I'm nice. Yes, I use my superpower for good. I don't heckle you unless you heckle me. We could talk about that next time. The first time that I got heckled in Atlanta, it was brutal. But thank you for what you all are doing in our industry, y'all. I really appreciate you guys. You too, for sure. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Allison.
Toodles.
Peace.
Email me, Zach. Bye.